Sirens scream through Orbital Station 9. Red lights flash. Doors lock with hard clanks. Soldiers rush to a wide chamber and raise shock lances. In the center, a glass cage stands like a cold crystal tower. Inside the cage waits a red dragon, huge and silent with eyes like hot coals and breath that fogs the glass. Captain Vora steps forward. She is tall, scaled, and calm, but her hands are tight on her weapon. "Hold position," she orders. The guards form a circle. Everyone watches the beast. Then a small shape moves through the soldier's legs. It is a human child. Her name is Zara. She walks with steady steps. Her shoes tap lightly on the metal floor. No one expects a child here. An officer reaches to stop her, but she slips past him like a fish in water. The dragon lifts his head. Heat dances across his teeth. The glass glows orange under his breath. The crowd pulls back. Many aliens whisper old fear words. A few even pray. Captain Vora raises her hand to fire. Zara stops at the glass. She sets both palms against it. The glass hums. Her face is calm. Her eyes are clear. She only sees a great hurting creature. "He looks scared," she says softly. Her voice is small, but it carries. Silence falls over the room. A repair robot trundles in late, tools clinking. Its name tag reads, Unit 7. It freezes when it sees the scene. Its round head tilts. It lets out a worried beep. The dragon answers with a deep, slow sound. The glass shivers. Tiny sparks run along hidden seams. An old lock fails with a sharp click. The door to the cage slides open by mistake. Or by something else. Captain Vora's breath catches. "Child, stand back." Her finger tightens on the trigger. Guards shift their feet. Every eye is wide. Zara steps through the door. She is careful. She keeps her hands low and open. The dragon watches her with one glowing eye. Smoke curls from his nostrils. His claws twitch on the steel floor. Each claw could cut a tank in half. Zara stops at his snout. She rises on her toes. She leans forward. She kisses the dragon's nose. The station forgets to breathe. No one fires. No one speaks. The sirens keep screaming, but the sound seems far away, like a storm outside a window. The dragon blinks once. Twice. His neck lowers until his head rests on the floor. His breath warms the air around the girl. Captain Vora lowers her weapon by an inch. Elder Talon, the station historian, peeks in from the doorway, eyes wet with sudden memory. He whispers, "The fire and the child." Zara places a small hand between two great scales. "It's all right," she says. "No one will hurt you." The dragon's pupils widen. A soft voice touches every mind in the room. Not a sound. A feeling shaped into words. Little flame. The dragon's thought is gentle, almost shy. Little flame does not fear. Lights across the chamber flicker once, twice. Then the alarms die. Doors unlock with soft sighs. Every screen turns black, then shows a single symbol, a red ribbon burning like a tiny comet. The dragon lifts his head, careful not to throw her down. He looks past the soldiers, past the captain, past the shattered rules. He looks only at the child. "Little flame," the mind voice says again. Zara smiles. The entire station holds still, and somewhere deep in the metal bones of Orbital Station 9, something old wakes and listens. Silence holds for one breath. Then the station shudders. Power surges. Lights pop. Red emergency lamps flip on and paint the room with blood color. Vents cough. A deep hum rolls through the metal bones of the station and then fades, like a wave falling back into a dark sea. The dragon lifts his head a little higher. Zara stands steady with one hand on his warm scale. Soldiers tighten their circle again. The shock lances rise like silver thorns. Captain Vora looks from the child to the beast. Orders fight inside her eyes. "Stand down. No. Hold." Her voice breaks, just for a second. She lowers the gun a little. Nobody fires near the child. Elder Talon steps in with careful feet. He holds an old data slate close to his chest. His voice is low and shaking with awe. "The fire and the child," he whispers again. The sign is true. Unit 7 rolls forward on squeaking wheels. It scans the glass door, then the floor, then the heavy ceiling rig. Tiny lights flicker across its round body. "Warning," it beeps. "Power grid unstable. Secondary locks engaged. Tertiary doors will seal in 30 seconds. The dragon's mind voice brushes across them, warm and strange. "Little flame safe." A pause. Crowd afraid. His great chest rises and falls. Smoke curls like soft ribbon. Zara looks up at Captain Vora. "Please, he will not hurt us." Vora breathes out through her teeth. She taps her wrist console. Doors around the chamber hiss. Thick plates start sliding down from the ceiling to crush the exits shut. Somewhere far away, a siren changes pitch. Higher, more urgent. "Station is going into hard lockdown," Vora says. "If we stay, we all get trapped." Sparks jump at the main door. A cutting torch starts to eat through from the other side. Reinforcements are coming. Too many. Too late to talk. Unit 7 spins to a wall panel and flips it open. "Maintenance nexus located," it chirps. Its tiny arm snakes in and twists 3 old valves. A round service vent yawns wide near the floor. Cold air washes out. It smells like dust and metal rain. Vora looks from the vent to the dragon. The beast is too large. He will not fit. Zara touches his jaw. "Come with us." The dragon lowers his head until his eye is level with hers. "Follow paths of wind," the mind voice says. "Find hollow place." He turns, tucks his wings, and angles his long body. It seems impossible, but he slithers, slow and careful, and his shoulders slide into the vent with a grinding scrape. Scales spark against steel. He goes first, pulling darkness with him like a cloak. Zara kneels and swings her legs into the hole. Unit 7 drops in after her with a clonk. Elder Talon hesitates at the lip, then nods once and follows. Captain Vora stops at the vent mouth. Duty tugs her back. Fear pushes her forward. The torch at the main door burns brighter. Metal drips like orange tears. She swears in a soldier's whisper and crawls into the vent. Inside, the world is tight and loud. Metal booms under their weight. The dragon moves slow, guiding them with his heat. His tail shields the child from sharp edges. Red light fades behind them. Blue emergency paint marks flash by. Arrow, bay, A, arrow, coolant, arrow, waste. They reach a junction. Unit 7 projects a shaky map on the vent wall. The path forward glows with a skull sign. Words blink in rough block letters. Biohazard. No oxygen. Do not enter. Zara studies the sign. Her face is calm. Is there another way? Negative. Unit 7 beeps. All other paths locked or flooded. Vora checks her tanks. "I can give you air. Not much." The dragon's mind voice is steady. Hollow place beyond black air. Safe for fire. He turns his head so one golden eye can see the child. "Trust." Zara nods once. We go together. Behind them, the chamber door gives way with a scream of metal. They crawl toward the dark zone. The skull sign flickers. The air grows thin and the station holds its breath again. The skull sign flickers weakly behind them. The air grows thin and cold. Metal sweats with frost. The vent narrows until even Zara must turn sideways to pass. Captain Vora's breath hisses through a small mask. Elder Talon coughs once and swallows the sound. Unit 7's wheels click in a careful rhythm, trying not to echo. Ahead, the dragon moves like a red river in the dark. His scales scrape softly. Sparks jump, then fade at once in the dead air. "Hold close," the mind voice says, warm in the cold space. "Do not waste breath." Zara presses her palm to a scale. Heat seeps into her fingers. The dragon shifts his wing and makes a little hollow with his body, a pocket that keeps her from the worst chill. Vora gives Talon the second mask and sets her own timer down by another minute. She watches the child, then the dragon, Then the map glowing faint on Unit 7's shell. 2 turns. Vora whispers. Then the black zone. The black zone arrives sooner than anyone wants. The walls lose color. Sound dies. Even the hum of the station is gone here, like a heart that forgot to beat. Memory place, the mind voice murmurs. Old pain lives in cold. A picture folds into Zara's thoughts. Not words, feeling. Hands with iron gloves. Chains that bite. A muzzle of glass and fire. The dragon's small once and afraid and alone in a white room. Zara's eyes shine in the dim. She pats the scale again. You are not alone now, she says, very soft. The great body relaxes by a breath. Name is Ashwing, the thought comes, shy and proud at the same time. Hunted, caged, learned to listen, found little flame. Tape 3 is live. Unit 7 blurps in a whisper beep. Guard drones approaching. They will scan this vent in 40 seconds. Vora frowns. No cover in here. Solution deception, Unit 7 says. It opens its chest and pulls a small coil of wire and a lens as small as a tear. I can loop the camera feed. They will see us take a different turn. They will search the wrong path. Talon nods fast. Do it. Unit 7 bites the wire with a spark. The lens blinks once, twice, then holds steady. A ghostly image of an empty vent now fills the station cameras, replaying the last quiet minute again and again. Loop set, the little robot says. But the trick will not hold for long. Move, Ashwing urges, and he slides forward. The vent slopes down. Frost becomes ice. Their breath shows as white clouds, even in masks. The dragon's heat keeps the ice from sealing around them. They reach a round hatch sealed with a black mark. The letters say no oxygen, biolock. Vora lifts a brow. That is the way. Hollow place beyond, Ashwing answers. Safe for fire, safe for us. He leans in, listens, then taps the hatch with one claw in a slow pattern. 3. Pause. 2. Pause. 3. The hatch shudders unsure, then unlocks with a deep click as if some old rule remembered his touch. The door swings open into a wide, silent bay. Their light spills over a long shape under a dust sheet, sleek, dangerous, and built for something other than comfort. Pipes hang like metal vines. A broken window shows a cold starfield beyond. Zara steps out of the vent and shivers. The air is thin but real. Unit 7 sensor lights hop and blink. Reading a pulse, it says. Heartbeat sensor? Close, Vora spins, weapon low. Where? Not far, Unit 7 says. Right of the ship. Behind those tanks, they turn as one. The sensor blinks faster. The dragon's pupils narrow. Something moves in the shadows. A soft, wet breath answers their own. The heartbeat is not behind the tanks, it is right beside them. The heartbeat is close. Too close, Zara turns her head. A soft thump, thump, comes from the wall at her elbow. The metal there is not normal. It looks smooth, almost like skin under frost. A faint glow pulses inside it, slow and steady, as if a sleeping giant breathes behind the panel. Unit 7 flicks its sensor again. Source confirmed, it beeps. Heartbeat is integrated. Not a person. Not an animal. It is the room. Ashwing's pupils widen. Cage heart, the mind voice says, bitter as smoke. Ship made to hold my kind. Elder Talon brushes snow dust from a half-hidden plate. Letters appear in 2 scripts. Bio-Seal Prison, Dragon-class containment ship. He stares in shame. Our people built this, he says. We said it was for safety. It was for chains. Captain Vora studies the chamber. Her jaw is tight. Her weapon lowers. No one fires, she says to no one and everyone. We do not point guns at children or at things that can think. Ashwing bows his head until the long horns almost touch the frost floor. Steam rises from his breath and curls around Zara like a shawl. Little flame safe, he says. But time thin, the far doors tremble. A low alarm wakes in the station bones. Red warning lights blink once, twice, then switch to black. The tone changes to a heavy, flat note like a judge's hammer. Vora's neck frills lift in fear. Black alert, she says. That code is used only when a warlord arrives. She taps her wrist console. A symbol flashes there, a spined crown over a star. Admiral Sketh. Zara looks at the prison ship. Its skin is smooth and pale. Vents like gills line its sides. Under a dust sheet, clamps curve like teeth. If we move him inside, she says, pointing to Ashwing, will the ship protect us? Talon answers first. It will protect the ship, not its guests. The gel harness will lock the dragon. It reads heartbeats. It listens for power in the blood. Can we make it listen to her? Vora asks, nodding at Zara. Unit 7 pops open a tiny tool rack. Possible, it says. BioSeal accepts high-clearance chips. A false command can move its loyalty flag. Zara steps to Vora. Her voice stays calm. I need your access chips. Blue and Alpha. Vora hesitates. Those chips can open almost anything on the station. She looks at the child. She looks at the dragon. Duty and mercy push against each other in her eyes. She unclamps the chips and places them in Zara's small hand. Do not make me regret this, Vora says, but her voice is softer now. Unit 7 leaps to the control node like a busy spider. Sparks dance. The BioSeal wall sighs and turns warm under Zara's palm. A clear panel lights. Words crawl across in simple lines. New command route. Zara presses her hand flat. The ship's pulse speeds up, then slows as if it listens to her heartbeat. Little flame leads, Ashwing murmurs. Ashwing follows, metal groans. The floor vibrates. Something big grabs the hangar from outside. Vora's eyes snap up. Docking clamps, she says. Someone is forcing a separation. A beam of ice blue light shoots past the window and splashes across the hull like silent water. The hangar tilts a fraction. Tool slide. A distant voice crackles through the broken speakers, harsh and greedy. Cut it free. Bring me the child. Talon clutches his slate. Sketh's boarding cutters. Bolts pop along the ceiling, sharp, painful sounds. The hangar shakes again, harder. A long, tearing noise runs through the rafters like a scream. Zara meets the dragon's eye. Inside. Now. The BioSeal ship opens its mouth of glass and gel. The clamps crack. The hangar lurches toward the black. The hangar tilts again. Tools slide across the floor. The BioSeal ship opens. Zara presses her palm to the warm panel. The ship's pulse matches her heartbeat, fast and steady. Inside, Captain Vora orders. She taps her boots. Magnets lock. She catches Zara with one hand and Unit 7 with the other as the floor shifts. Elder Talon clutches his data slate and follows. Bolts fire in a quick chain. Metal screams. The outer clamps give way with a final crack. The hangar tears free from Station 9 and drifts into the starfield. Gravity forgets its job. Dust floats. A wrench spins. Vora locks Zara to a strut. Unit 7 clicks on tiny magnets. Talon hooks a ladder rung. Recording, he whispers. Elder Talon steadies his breath, eyes bright with fear and wonder. He keeps the record alive. Ashwing moves last. He coils around them, tail a wall against the gap. His wings brace the ribs. Heat from his scales fights the cold leaking through seams. Hold, Ashwing says in the mind voice. Storm will pass. A circle on the far wall glows orange, then white. A cutter bites through the hangar skin, making a door. The disc falls inward and spins away. 5 figures in black pressure suits glide in, rifles low. A red crest marks each shoulder, the spined crown of Admiral Sketh. Boarders, Vora says, voice flat. Stun only. Not near the child, the pirates fan out. One scans the ship, another tracks the dragon. Their leader points at Zara and taps his helm. Capture sign. Ashwing inhales. Fire gathers, but he keeps it tight, a needle, not a storm. He draws a thin line of flame across the deck. Metal hisses and curls. Unit 7 bumps forward. Tactical idea, it beeps. It slaps a puck on the deck. The puck pops and spills bright mist. The mist mirrors motion, confusing eyes and sensors. Talon lifts his slate and speaks in the old tongue. Witness to the pact. The child is under protection. The dragon thinks. You will not chain a mind. Cute speech, the leader says through the mask. He gestures again. 2 pirates leap for the ship. Vora meets them. Her boot magnets spark as she shifts. She chops one rifle aside and slams a visor into a beam. The second fires. The stun bolt skids off Ashwing's scale and breaks a light. Zara is steady. She keeps her hand on the panel. Ship, she says softly, listen to me. Close to strangers. Open to friends. The surface answers with 2 chimes. Gel harnesses retract like sleepy snakes. The cutter hole brightens. More black suits pour in. A heavy shape blocks the light. A drone with grabbing arms and a folding cage. Vora curses. A snatch drone. Ashwing meets Zara's eyes. Little flame, he says. Do not run. I will burn only the path. Across the drifting hangar, the pirate leader lifts his hand and speaks for all to hear. The child is the key, he says. Take her alive. Mist hangs in the torn hangar. Magnets spark under Captain Vora's boots as she shifts to cover the child. The snatch drone spreads its arms wide and hums like an angry hive. Pirates close their circle, rifles steady, visors black. Zara keeps her palm on the bioseal panel. She breathes in, slow and clear. Ashwing coils around her, a wall of living heat. Elder Talon steadies himself. Unit 7 rolls ahead until it is nose to nose with the nearest pirate. The leader points. Take the child. Zara lifts her chin. Her voice is small but steady. My name is Zara, what is yours? The pirates falter. In their helmets, faces twitch with surprise. No one asks them that. Not captains. Not enemies. Not ever. The nearest pirate hesitates. His rifle lowers a finger's width. Breck, he mutters as if he has forgotten the shape of his own name. Thank you, Breck, Zara says. Please don't hurt anyone. We can all leave alive. Move! The leader snaps, stung by the crack in discipline. The drone surges forward. Unit 7 flips a panel on its back and smacks a copper disc onto the deck. A ripple of blue races across the floor. The drone's feet remagnetize hard. It yanks, but the pulse clamps it in place. Conductive snare deployed. Unit 7 beeps with pride. Captain Vora steps into the gap. Her blade pops from her wrist. She strikes the drone's arm at the joint. The metal bends with a squeal. A cage segment springs loose and spins away. Ashwing inhales. A silver line of fire lances from his throat, thin as wire, hot as a new star. He cuts a handhold across the deck and then dies. He never points flame near the child. Ship, Zara says to the panel. Open for friends. The gel mouth parts. And lock for enemies. A second tone answers. Transparent teeth grow across the entry, slick and sharp. The leader curses and fires. The stun bolt slaps Ashwing's scale and skids off toward the ceiling. Zara does not flinch. She looks at the leader. You know my name, she says. Who are you? He bares his teeth behind glass. Rake, remember it when you beg. Rake, Zara says, calm as rain. Your team can still walk away. Enough. Rake growls. He taps his helm. Over the station band, a new voice cuts in, deep and cruel. This is Admiral Scath, it says. Surrender the child now, or I vent 1,000 civilians on Station 9. 10 seconds. The hangar seems to stop moving. Even the mist holds still. Talon's knuckles go white on the slate. Vora's eyes burn. Unit 7 freezes, motors whining. Zara looks at Ashwing. Can we save them? Ashwing lowers his head until his eye fills her world. If little flame leads, I follow, the mind voice says. Zara nods once. She turns back to Rake. Then hear me. My name is Zara, and no one vents a single soul today. The hangar drifts in cold space like a broken tooth. Red mist hangs near the cut door. Pirates hold the line. Captain Vora plants her magnet boots and keeps Zara behind her left arm. Elder Talon presses a hand over his chest as if to steady an old heart. Unit 7's tiny lights chase each other, nervous and bright. Across the torn hull, Admiral Sketh's dreadnought rolls into view. It is a dark mountain with engines like storm mouths. A long spine glows along its belly, segment by segment as a weapon wakes. The station band crackles. Last offer, Sketh says. Give me the child and the dragon or watch your people die. Zara looks up at Ashwing. His great eye shines like a small sun. She is not shaking. She is only very, very still. Can we save everyone? She asks. Ashwing lowers his head until she can touch the warm scale near his jaw. If little flame leads, I follow, the mind voice answers. Protect child. Protect innocent. Zara turns to the others. Then we make a pact, she says. We protect each other. We protect the station. No one gets left behind. Talon draws a breath that trembles and straightens his back. He lifts his data slate and speaks in the old cadence of law. Witness to the pact on this day at the edge of black. Parties. Zara of Earth, Ashwing of Flame, Vora of Station 9, and Unit 7 lawful device. Purpose. Defend the innocent, refuse the chain, reject the slaughter. His eyes shine. So witnessed. Vora nods once. So witnessed. She opens a maintenance channel on her wrist. A secret tunnel of broadcast opens through the static. Civilian decks, evacuate to shield core, she orders. All security, follow my mark, tight cone around the reactor. Unit 7 whirs. I can spoof Sketh's targeting for 40 seconds if I borrow the ship's pulse, it says. Little arms open. Permission to patch? Permission, Zara says. The bioseal panel warms to her hand. A low tone answers. New lines bloom on Unit 7's screen. Shield harmonics, thruster angles, life signs like flickers of candlelight. Sketh is charging a sun lance, Vora says. Her frills are flat with fear. If it hits the station core, there is no station. Big gun, Unit 7 says. Bigger than my feelings, it tries a joke. The joke is small, but it breaks the ice in the air. Then we move the target, Zara says. She drops to one knee and pulls a chalk stub from her pocket, the kind a child uses on a sidewalk. She draws a simple plan on the metal deck. A circle for the station, a line for the dreadnought, arrows for thrusters. We make the station tumble. We open one narrow shield stripe and put it exactly where the lance will hit. Talon blinks. Why the tumble? Because big guns like still things, Zara says. We won't be still. Ashwing exhales a warm gust. I can push air through vents, he says. Small winds, many places. Do it, Vora says. She keys the thrusters. Unit 7 rides the ship's pulse and sends a fake station outline to the dreadnought's hungry eyes. The massive spine below Sketh brightens to white. Hold, Zara whispers. The lance fires, pure light, straight as a judge's finger. The tumbling shield stripe flashes into place for a breath just where the beam bites. Light rips across the station skin and misses the core by a narrow street. Cheers burst across the civilian band. Then the hangar jerks. A deep hum climbs under their feet. Sketh's ship has locked a tractor beam on the drifting bay. The floor begins to slide, brace, Vora says. He is reeling us in. The tractor beam pulls like a giant fishing line. The hangar skids through the dark, leaving a tail of tools and glittering dust. The dreadnought opens a black mouth to swallow them. Inside that mouth waits a cage with a child-sized chair. Distance closing, Unit 7 reports. Time to capture, 1 minute. Captain Vora sets her stance and breathes slow through her teeth. Ideas. Zara draws another quick chalk picture on the deck. Their drifting box, the beam, the hungry ship. We cannot break the beam, she says. So we move the angle. Angle? Talon asks. We spin the hanger and make the beam pull wrong, Zara says. She points to corners and ribs. There. If we push together, we will twist. Ashwing coils testing balance in low gravity. I can give small thrust, he says. Short fire, not to harm. Do it in pulses, Vora says. I will time with suit jets. Unit 7 scurries to a junction and opens a dusty grate. I can bleed air from 3 lines, it beeps. Microjets. On my mark, Vora says. She counts down. 3, 2, 1, push! Ashwing flares a thread of flame along the side wall. Air blooms and shoves the bay. Vora fires her jets for a blink. Unit 7 vents air with a happy squeal. The hangar turns a hand's width. The tractor beam groans. It hates side force. It tightens and leans. The pull now drags them a little high, a little off. They spin again. The beam leans harder and loses efficiency. Again, Zara says. She keeps her hand on the bioseal panel and watches the dreadnought's open mouth. Small now. They push in short bursts. The bay behaves like a stubborn wheel. It wobbles, it twists. The beam jitters to keep up. Talon stares at the chalk arrows as if they are magic. A dance, he says, amazed. We are dancing with a weapon. Keep dancing, Vora says through a thin smile. Across the gap, Admiral Sketh leans toward his screen. His voice spits on the band. Stop that! The dreadnought adjusts the tractor to compensate. Clamps unfold from the mouth like teeth. New problem, Unit 7 says. He is adding hooks. Zara squints at the glittering teeth. She draws another arrow. We do one more turn, then drop. Drop? Vora asks. We cut all thrust at once, Zara says. Let the beam expect push and find empty. It will yank too hard. We slide low under the teeth. Vora's frills lift. Risky. Ashwing's mind voice is calm. Trust little flame. Ready, Zara says. 3, 2, 1. Drop. Flame stops. Jets stop, vents shut. The hangar quits fighting. The beam yanks with stored hunger and overshoots. The bay slips under the first line of hooks by the width of a hand. Again. Zara cries. They repeat. The bay slaloms under the open mouth. Claws snap on empty air. A roar shakes the band. Enough, Sketh says. Board them now. Hatches open along the dreadnought's rim. Sleek boarding darts fire like black nails and bite into the hangar skin. Cables snake in. Doors crack from the inside. Positions, Vora says. She lifts her blade. Unit 7 sparks. Talon lifts his slate. Ashwing curls over Zara like a living shield. The first dart flowers open, and a dozen armored shapes pour through. The armored shapes form a ring with cruel grace. Their armor is dark and edged. Symbols of the spined crown shine on every chest. The leader of this squad carries a rod with coils that glow a sickly green. Spectacle mode, he says, amused. The Admiral wants a show. He taps the rod on the floor. Projectors bloom around the hangar, throwing up an oval of layered shields that glitter like hot glass. The new ring seals them inside a cruel arena. Elder Talon's face goes pale. An old rite, he whispers. Trial by flame. Ashwing raises his head. He looks at Zara, and the hot coal eye softens. I will face it, the mind voice says. I choose. Vora's jaw tightens. You do not have to, she says. I do, Ashwing replies. They will not stop unless they taste fear break. The coil rod hums higher. The shielded oval brightens. A mist like oily smoke seeps from vents along the floor and hangs at knee height, uneasy and alive. Zara slips the red ribbon from her hair. She ties it carefully around Ashwing's front horn. Come back, she says, simple as a prayer. Ashwing lowers his head so she can knot it tight. I will find you, little flame, he promises, in fire or dark. The leader laughs and sweeps his rod. Begin. The mist ignites without heat. Pale fire rises, not burning metal but burning memory. Shapes form inside the ghost flame. Chains, needles, white rooms. A smaller ash dragon gasping behind glass. Ashwing flinches. The shields press inward a finger's width, hungry. Zara's voice comes through the small band in his ear. Listen to me. You are free now. The words drop like stones in a lake. The ripples reach the oldest places. Ashwing plants his claws. He names the fear, and it loses teeth. He breathes out. Not fire, but steadiness. The ghost flame tries to climb into his eyes. It finds a wall there and slides off like rain. The leader frowns. He twists the coil to raise the power. The mist swirls into a storm. More memories try to bite. Hunters with hooks, collars that drink heat, a brand pressed to living scale. Zara speaks again, clear and simple. You are not a weapon. You are Ashwing. The name is a bridge. Ashwing runs across it. His roar is not rage. It is release. The ghost images shatter like glass plates dropped on stone. The pale fire gutters. The shields stutter. Not possible, the leader says. He jerks the coil to full. Behind Zara, Captain Vora sees motion at the edge of the ring, too precise for smoke. A seam opens in the hangar wall, silent as a mouth. A stealth cutter slides a thin door toward the child. Kidnappers, Vora breathes. On our flank. Unit 7 hears her tone and rolls that way, sparks hopping from its wheels. Countermeasure. It beeps, but the stealth door is faster, slick as shadow. Inside the oval, Ashwing takes one step forward. The shields hiss. He does not stop. End it, the leader says, voice tight. The ghost flame climbs once more, tall, bright, hungry. It reaches for the red ribbon. Ashwing sets his chest against the storm and moves. The arena shakes. Beyond the glittering wall, the stealth door slides open behind Zara. A gloved hand reaches. The gloved hand closes on air. Ashwing crosses the arena in a blur, horn first, ribbon streaming like a comet tail. He hits the shield, and the shield bends around him like hot wax. The coil rod shrieks. The leader stumbles. Ghost flame whirls and pulls like a tide. Zara does not scream. She drops low as the stealth cutter door yawns behind her. A second hand shoots out for her ankle. Captain Vora is already moving. She snaps a cable from her wrist and flips it like a whip. The cable cracks the reaching gauntlet. Fingers spark and seize. Unit 7 launches itself like a brave, rolling stone. It slams into the cutter's lip and jams a spanner between the door plates. Door wedge, it beeps. Temporary. The stealth engine pitches higher, trying to chew the tool. Inside the arena, the leader cranks the coil to a screaming note. Ghost flame blossoms into a towering column. Shapes surge from the fire. Whole rooms this time, long halls of glass cells. In every cell, a dragon huddles. Their eyes are mirrors of fear. Ashwing takes the heat into his chest. He holds the images like heavy things, and one by one he sets them down. Not now, not me, not little flame. His mind voice spreads like sunrise through the fire. The shield line buckles. Cracks like spiderwebs flash across the oval. The leader sees the failure and lunges to escape the backlash. Now, Vora calls. She fires 2 stun bolts through a gap in the projectors. One hits a feedback node. Blue lightning spiders out and eats the rod. The leader howls as the coil burns his grip and drops, dead and smoking. Ashwing surges the last step. He lowers his head and presses the ribboned horn to the ring. There is a long, ringing note, like crystal breaking under snow. The arena wall collapses in shards of light. At the stealth door, the cutter finally shears Unit 7's spanner. The door pops wider. A masked figure lunges fast as a snake. It catches Zara's coat. Zara twists. She slips out of the coat and leaves it like a shed skin in the thief's hand. The kidnapper stumbles a step into view, off balance, and Vora meets them with a heel to the visor. The mask starbursts. The figure falls backward into its own ship. Seal it, Vora snaps. Unit 7 slaps a second wedge, smaller and meaner, into the door track. Wedge 2, it says, proud. Also temporary. Ashwing steps from the last falling splinters and sets himself between Zara and every enemy. Ghost flame gutters and dies around his ankles. For a breath there is only quiet, and the tiny flap of a red ribbon in still air. Then Admiral Sketh returns to the band, furious. Playtime ends, he says. Open the bay. Tractors to full. Bring me the child. Locks all around the hangar thump and rotate. Massive clamps unfold from the dreadnought's mouth and bite into the torn bay's edge. Steel screams. The whole world begins to slide again. Out, Vora commands. Into the Dragon-class ship. Now. The bioseal mouth opens at Zara's touch. Gel straps lift like welcoming hands. They run. Unit 7 rolls. Talon clutches his slate and follows. Vora backs in last, firing as she moves. The dragon ducks and flows into the ship in one long, beautiful motion. The gel harness trembles as if it wants to lock. It tastes Zara's pulse through the panel. And waits. Close, Zara says. The mouth seals. Outside, the dreadnought clamps grind. Inside, a low, heart-deep thud answers. The ship wakes. The biolights along the ship's spine flicker on like a row of eyes. The floor warms. The air smells faintly of rain. Captain Vora slides into the pilot cradle. It accepts her with a gentle hiss but shows her only guard-level controls. Zara lays her palm on the route panel. New paths open on every screen like roads after fog. Welcome acknowledged, Unit 7 chirps. We have friend access. Then let's leave, Vora says. Outside, Sketh's clamps anchor the hangar tight against his ship. The mouth of the dreadnought is a cave lined with teeth. We need a way he won't expect. Ashwing lowers his head into a hollow ring in the deck. Scales and metal touch with a soft chime. I can lend heat, he says. Wake, old bones, do it, Zara says. She strokes the warm panel. The Dragon-class ship answers with a slow, sleepy purr. Vents open. Lines fill with soft blue light. Clamps still locked, Vora warns. Not for long, Unit 7 says. I will overdrive the recoil buffer. Its tiny arms dance over contacts. 3-2, the ship kicks like a living thing that just remembered it has legs. The clamps tear loose with a shower of sparks. The hangar spins free into black space. Sketh's tractors grab again, but too late. The ship rolls, noses down, and dives into the void. Darts chase with needle engines. Vora cuts hard under one. Skims a second so close it leaves a scrape on the hull. We need cover, she says. Something strong. Talon, who has spent his life reading star maps like poems, stares at the black ahead. He points to a faint band that wavers like heat above a road. There, he says. The Starwind Canyon. A natural river in space. Risky, Vora says. Fast and narrow. Perfect, Zara answers. They arrow toward the shimmering band. Sketh laughs over the band with a hungry sound. Run faster, he says. I enjoy the hunt. His hunters spread to flank the canyon mouth. Hold tight, Vora says. She takes the river at a slant. The ship shudders and then the world turns into music. The star wind catches them and sings along the hull in low, steady chords. Speed blooms. Hunters swing in behind, late and clumsy. Ashwing hums in answer. I know this sound, he says, distant and glad. Old paths. Old sky. Zara grips the rail and smiles through fierce focus. We stay in the bright current, she tells Vora. Not too high. Not too low. Unit 7 rides the sensor feed. Echoes ahead, it reports. Fork in the flow. Left, Talon says, certain. Always left in Starwind. They take the left. The canyon tightens. Spark spray kisses the hull. A hunter clips the wall and spins into smoke. Another tries to leap ahead and is pushed back like a toy by the invisible river. Minutes stretch thin. The song grows softer. The band widens into a calm sea of light. The canyon ends. They burst out above a green planet ringed in pale clouds. The surface is a quilt of forests and white stone. Shadows move there, long and patient. Zara leans toward the glass. Her breath fogs it. What is that place? Talon answers with a voice that is almost reverent. The legends call it the hidden world, he says, where dragons went to sleep. They angle down. The white stone below is not stone at all, it is bone, an ocean of dragon bone bright in the sun. Landing, Vora says, hushed. They descend toward a field of silent ribs taller than towers. Shapes like statues watch them from the ridgelines. Wind moves through hollows like voices. Ashwing lowers his head and does not speak. The ship kisses the ground. The doors unfurl. Outside, the bones remember fire. They step into a wind that smells of pine and cold stone. The sky is wide and young. White ribs arch over the valley like bridges from another age. Shadows pass across the ground as clouds drift, slow and stately, as if refusing to rush a sacred place. Ashwing moves with soft steps between giant vertebrae. He is quiet in his joy and sorrow. Scales brush old bone with a sound like distant rain. The red ribbon trembles on his horn. Elder Talon walks beside him, head bare to the wind. We told ourselves dragons were storms with teeth, he says. We forgot they were people. He bows his head to the bones. Forgive us. Captain Vora kneels and presses her palm to the earth. Her frills rest flat in shame. We used fear as a map, she says. It drew us to the wrong places, Unit 7 records. Its little head turns left, left like a bird listening. Local radio quiet, it beeps. But there are echoes in the ground. Old beacons. Sleeping. Zara walks ahead until a mound rises, low and round, like a hill that decided to curl up. It is covered in pale scales turned to stone. She knows without being told, a grave. She takes the red ribbon from Ashwing's horn and lays it across the mound. We remember, she says, simple and clear. Ashwing lowers his head beside the ribbon. Thank you, the mind voice whispers. It trembles at the edges. They were my sky, a shape moves at the ridge. An ally steps out, one of the station's traders, slim and quick, named Creel. He smiles with too many teeth and lifts both hands. Friends, he calls. I followed your trail to help. Vora rises, cautious but not yet afraid. Talon nods, grateful for any friendly face. Unit 7 waves a little arm, hopeful. Creel's eyes flick to Zara, then to a point over the valley. A thin glint flashes on his wrist. Far above the clouds part. Tiny black dots appear and widen, neat and clean. The band crackles. Admiral Sketh's voice slides down like oil. Thank you for the signal, Creel, he says. Stand clear. Vora's head snaps to the trader. Creel backs away with a shrug. A warlord pays better than legends. He taps his wrist once more. A beacon on the ground under his boot flares and dies. Nothing personal, little one. He turns and runs for the rocks. Ashwing roars, fury and grief together. The sound shakes dust from the bones. Zara does not chase. She stands very still. We knew someone might betray us, she says, more to herself than the others. We came anyway. Hunter craft descend in a widening ring. Troops slide down cables among the ribs, efficient and quick. Their armor is storm dark. Their faces are hidden behind gold glass. A banner bearing the spined crown flaps once in the wind and hangs. Talon grips his slate. We cannot let them defile this place. Vora bares her teeth. Then we make our line here. Unit 7 pops open 2 panels and scatters small devices like seeds. Echo beacons, it beeps. For sound and light. Ready on command. Ashwing lifts his head. The red ribbon on the grave stirs without wind. We hold, he says. We protect. Sketh's voice carries through 1,000 helmets. Take the child, he orders. Break the dragon, shadows move. Steel glints. The first rank steps forward between the bones. Zara draws a simple map in the dust with one finger. Lines, arcs, A trap. Positions, she says, calm as the sky. The enemy comes on. The first rank advances between ribs as tall as towers. Their boots crunch pale dust. They think the ground is empty because it looks plain. That is Zara's gift. She makes plain ground dangerous. Hold, Captain Vora says. She and a handful of station guards, those who followed her heart, not Sketh's fear, take cover behind a fallen spine. Elder Talon crouches with them, slate ready to witness. Unit 7 hides under a rib, one blinking eye peeking out. Ashwing disappears. He has folded himself into shadow, heat masked by the cold bones that drink sunlight. Dragons can be thunder, but they can also be silence. Only Zara knows where he waits because she can feel the warm thrum of his mind like a second pulse. Phase 1, Zara says in a low voice. Echo beacons. Unit 7 taps a single key. The valley sings. Sound bursts from hidden stones. Footsteps, where there are no feet, shouts that come from empty air. The grinding snarl of invisible machines. Light blooms, then snaps out, then blooms again in a different place. The enemy line hesitates, then breaks into squads to chase ghosts. Phase 2, Zara says. Fake retreat. Vora and the guards pop up, fire twice, then fall back down the slope, slow enough to tempt, fast enough to survive. The enemy cheers through their helmets and follows, winded by pride. Phase 3, Zara whispers. Close the mouth. She traces a curve in the dust with her thumb. The troops pour into a hollow shaped like a bowl. They do not see that the ribs around it lean inward. They do not see the thin lines Unit 7 strung between vertebrae, lines that carry not wire but sound. Now, Zara says. Unit 7 fires the beacons in sequence. Sound slams the hollow from every side, low at first, then higher, then highest, until the air itself shakes. Armor sensors go blind. Visors swim with white noise. The troops clutch their helmets and stumble. Rise, Zara says to the sky. Ashwing erupts from beneath a drift of pale dust, wings wide, fire drawing a burning circle around the bowl. He does not burn flesh. He burns paths, lines the enemy cannot cross without pain. He roars, and the sound folds the echo into itself and hurls it back. The hollow becomes a bell. The trapped troops fall to one knee. Vora leads the guards along the rim and cuts weapons free from stunned hands. Talon stands tall and speaks the ancient words of surrender law, voice steady as stone. Lay down arms and you will live. A heavier whine rises over the battle. Sketh descends in a personal skimmer, sleek and mean, grav pads throwing dirt like water. He ignores surrender and aims straight at Zara. A cable gun pops and spits a grav tether that snakes through the air and locks around the child's waist. Zara's feet leave the ground. She grabs the line with both hands to keep it from biting deep. The skimmer yanks her upward. Zara, Vora shouts. She fires and misses as Sketh jukes. Unit 7 launches a grapple. It catches the skimmer's belly and skids, sparks flying. Ashwing turns so fast the air claps. He leaps for the skimmer, but a wall of shields blooms from drones and he slams it with his chest. He rakes it with fire. It holds whining, cracked but alive. Sketh smiles behind gold glass. He reels the child in. End of legend, he says over the band. The tether tightens. Zara looks down once to find Ashwing's eye. She does not cry. She pulls one hand free and bares her teeth, and she bites the tether. The grav tether tastes like copper and storm. Zara bites until her jaw aches. The line vibrates, furious, and loosens a finger's width. She spits, grabs again, and twists the cable to one side to expose the fiber core. Assist, Unit 7 squeals. It rockets up the line on tiny wheels like a beetle racing a leaf. A cutter pops from its side, small, bright, brave. Slicing, it beeps. Sparks scatter like angry bees. Sketh curses and yanks the reel. The cable whips. Unit 7 hangs on with magnetic feet and keeps cutting. Vora fires a burst that makes the skimmer jink. Talon stands at the valley's center and raises both hands. Witness, He calls, voice rolling between ribs. Witness this law. The fiber smokes. The last strand parts with a sharp, pitiful sound. The tether fails. Zara falls, but only for a heartbeat. Ashwing is already there. He slides under her like a mountain, remembering how to fly, and catches her with the wide bowl of his neck. They hit the ground hard. Dust leaps. Zara clings to a warm scale and laughs once, breathless and alive. Sketh's skimmer banks away to gain speed for a killing run. Its nose glows. Drone shields flare back to life. He angles for Ashwing's heart. Burn, he says, almost tender. Not today, Vora answers. She throws her fighter into the sky from a hiding hollow where she stashed it on landing. Engines scream. She slams a wing into the skimmer's flank. Metal screams louder. The gold visor cracks a second line. Sketh spins, fights it, recovers badly. Unit 7 shoots a dart into the drone cloud. Noise seed, it says. The drones buzz in confusion, their shield net flickering like a torn flag. Ashwing rises to his full height. He does not chase Sketh. He sets his head beside Zara's and breathes once. Little flame, he says, a smile in the thought. Family. Zara nods. Family, she answers. Then louder, to everyone who can hear. No one chains a dragon. No one hurts a child. Talon lifts his slate. His voice takes on the weight of courts and ages. By ancient right of witness, by consent of the defended, and by the courage of those who stood, I speak the new law. No one may chain a dragon or harm a child. Any ruler who breaks this law loses name, banner, and command. So witnessed. The enemy line falters. Some drop weapons, moved by the words said in a place of bones. Others look to Sketh, waiting for permission to keep being cruel. Sketh snarls and dives, choosing cruelty. He aims for Zara again. Vora is ready. She knifes across his path and kicks a missile free. It strikes the skimmer's engine ring. Light blooms. Sketh's craft tumbles into the ribs and crumples like a dying beetle. His shield flickers and fails. He crawls out dazed, reaching for a sidearm he cannot find. Vora lands and walks to him without hurry. She binds his wrists with her own officer cord. Admiral Sketh, she says, voice quiet. By the new law, by station law, and by simple decency, you are under arrest. Silence rolls out from that point like dawn. Helmets lower. Weapons drop. The wind speaks in the bones. Ashwing lowers his forehead to Zara's. The red ribbon flutters between them. Little flame, he says again. My family. A soft glow pools under Ashwing's folded wing. Zara notices it first. What is that? Ashwing shifts. In the warm hollow, a small egg rests, veined with light, humming like a far star. Zara smiles, eyes bright. A beginning, she says. Above, Orbital Station 9 turns, wounded but alive. Below, the hidden world breathes, no longer alone. Between them stand a dragon and a child and a law new and good,